Okay, well, welcome everyone. I am so happy that you're here. I've really been looking forward to today. If you are new to the group, a big welcome. This is a wonderful group of people, and we're so happy to have you join us. If you are returning, I'm also happy to have you back. Um, Part of the way we sort of create a sense of being together and community, despite all being on our computers and our tablets in different states across the country, is to share a little bit about ourselves. So if you want to type into the chat, your name or what state you're tuning in from, or your favorite type of music, or maybe a style of yoga you've taken in the past that you like, or just a fun fact about yourself. That way we can all sort of get to know one another a little bit. You're welcome to do that. This class is being recorded, and that is because in 4 weeks, V, who is our amazing GoGo Grandparent admin who's on the call right now, will be putting this class up on YouTube on the GoGo Grandparent YouTube page. So you can go back and watch it at your leisure in the future. Maybe someday that there's not a class being offered, but you really want to move around, follow along, you can tune into YouTube. Throughout the class, I do ask that y'all stay muted, just so that while I'm leading the class, everyone can properly hear me. And then at the end of class, I would be so delighted if you would unmute and share how you're feeling and what you thought of the class. And I'll open that up at the end of our class. So let's go to the next screen. And it looks like we have 2 new chats coming in. Welcome Melanie from Maryland and DJ from Houston. And then Hildy is also in Maryland in Pikesville and is curious where Melanie is. Maybe y'all can meet up in Maryland, do some yoga together in person. I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm so happy to be tuning in today. Okay, so this page just has the website and the phone number. You can always go to GoGoGrandparent.com, and on the website, it will also have the phone number there. So you're always welcome to go there to get more information. And by calling that 855 number that you see, you'll be connected to a GoGo Grandparent operator who can sort of give you more information on ride services, meal delivery services, grocery shopping support, medication delivery, and sort of handyman services that GoGo Grandparent offers locally for you. And then we have our little refer a friend program. We sort of just keep this ongoing because we do like to grow our community. And so if you have any friends who aren't a part of GoGo Grandparent and you want them to, be able to tune in to take yoga with you or get the services that you use through GoGo Grandparent, you can refer them in and get $30 in credit. And then they also get $30 in credit. So it's a sort of double win. Facebook group is another way to grow the community. It's another way to sort of meet people who are geographically closer to you so that you can, explore in-person hangouts or just connecting with people through the community group on Facebook. And so for those of you who are new, this is my face. My name is Caro. I'm so happy to be here. We will be having about a 45-minute class together today. After which I will sort of open it up and invite you to unmute if you want or tell us how you're feeling. So you're welcome to sort of throughout the class sort of check in with how you're feeling, notice anything that feels particularly good in your body today, anything that you're like, I don't know about that, and sort of keep track of those sensations. And you're welcome to share them at the end or ask any questions that you have about any of the movements or stretches that we explore together today. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I say this a lot and I know it's repetitive, but I do think it's important to remember not to use a chair that has wheels, just so that we're not sort of rolling around in class and that you can feel sort of steady and stable. My chair is just, basic desk chair without wheels. You're welcome to use a sofa or a couch. We are going to be doing a few optional standing balance movements with the support of our chair, and sometimes couches can be a little bit harder to get up and out of. So if you are sitting in a couch or a sofa, you just give yourself plenty of time to make your way to standing when we do have those optional standing movements. Oh, we have a couple more comments coming in. Let's go see what they say. Okay. Okay, we got Melanie. She's in Westminster. I don't even know where that is, but that's so exciting. Maybe it's near Pikeville. We got Countess coming in from Oakland, California. I used to live in California, so I always like to hear people coming in from Cali. And Sonia says, always good to be here. Namaste. So lovely. Okay, we are going ahead and get started. So let me stop sharing my screen and then we will just ask V to sort of spotlight my video for everyone. As I don't know how to do that, but I hope, oh, there it is. Okay, great. Okay, I am gonna just ask for some crowd support here. So Hildy, Louise, Diane, I can see y'all. Can you give me a thumbs up if my face is really big now? Can you see me bigger than everybody else? Okay, great. Thanks, y'all. Oh, we got fireworks? Everybody see Louise's fireworks? That was amazing. Okay, I'm gonna step back and I do just want to make sure y'all can see my feet. Okay, great. All right, so if you aren't already seated, go ahead and take a seat in your chair or your sofa. Um, you may notice that I'm wearing shoes today. I've decided to practice our chair yoga with shoes and socks on today, but you're welcome to be barefoot if that feels more comfortable for your feet today. Um, I don't recommend socks, especially if you're on any sort of flooring that might be slippery, just because we do want to make sure we have proper balance. Also, traction, which we get from our bare feet or from shoes. If you want to, you could begin your practice today by sitting back into the support of your chair. So, what that may feel like is sort of scooting back a little bit, maybe leaning into the support of your chair. It's possible that your legs get a little bit more comfy. Maybe you rest your hands softly in your lap. And as much as possible, we're going to let our big Buddha belly make an appearance. So we're not sucking in our gut right now. We are just getting big and soft and comfortable. You may find that you want to close your eyes for just a moment here at the very beginning of our practice together. You're also welcome to have your eyes open. It's up to you. And we'll take a moment here, if you want to just notice that you are breathing. And there is no wrong way to breathe. There's no perfect way to breathe either. So if you want to, you could start to deepen your breath a little bit. So you may feel your inhales get sort of bigger or fuller. So your belly may expand, maybe even a little lift in your heart. And then you could start to breathe out slowly, a long, luxurious exhale. Sometimes it can be useful to inhale slowly through your nose, imagining smelling something delicious, cookies baking or flowers. And then exhaling slowly. It's almost like you're luxuriously blowing out a candle. Possibly a few more great big cycles of breath, each of us at our own pace. And noticing what it feels like to breathe in this way is sort of at the heart of our yoga practice. Some people think that the word yoga comes from the word to yoke. They have the same sort of etymology, the idea of connecting things together. So it's really just connecting your mind and your body, connecting yourself to the present moment, to what's truly happening right now. You may find that you want to stay right where you are, breathing and deepening each breath in, lengthening each breath out. You could stay here for the next 45 minutes, and that would be a complete yoga practice. But you may find that at some point your body starts to ask you for movement. So you could blink your eyes open if they were closed. Maybe there's any kind of little movement in your fingers or your toes that feels nice today. Possibly a little bit of circling in our ankles and our wrists. It may feel interesting to start extending your legs forward, maybe even stretching your arms overhead, almost like we just woke up and we're taking a great big stretch, breathing in. As you exhale, you could plant your feet, maybe bringing your arms down, possibly sitting a little bit taller. And if you want to, you could scoot a little bit forward. So we're creating some space between our body and the back of our chair. And this may give you enough space to start taking perhaps some circular movement with your torso. So you may find it useful here to have your hands sort of supporting you on your knees, noticing how this movement may feel in your body today. And throughout our practice together, I'd love to invite you to stay within a range of motion that feels useful and interesting for you. So we're not going to push into anything that feels pinchy or painful. Maybe you try to circle in both directions, warming up our lower back, noticing how maybe the side of your body's feeling. At any point, you could start to come through what feels like center. And if you'd like to, you could maybe lean a little bit side to side. There's a few different ways to take this movement. Last time or a couple times ago, we talked about our sitting bones. You could try keeping them connected to your chair. And if you sort of plant down through your seat, this side to side movement may bring a stretch into the side of your body. You could try that. Then each time you're leaning to the right, you could try sort of looking up and to the left. And then each time you're leaning to the left, you could try looking up and to the right. So it's sort of introducing the beginnings of our spinal twist as we lean side to side. You may also notice the beginnings of some sensations, maybe in the back of your neck, a little bit of a stretch, checking in with how your neck is feeling today. At any point, you could begin to come back through what feels like center and maybe explore reaching overhead to breathe in. On your exhale, you could bend one elbow so that we're reaching up with one arm. And then as you inhale, you could swap that out to the other arm. And maybe we continue side to side. So you could reach one arm up and the other arm up, starting to feel maybe some lengthening or stretching into the side of your rib cage, into your armpit, your upper back. If it feels interesting today, as you reach your right arm up, your left hand could sort of reach down to the ground. So we're sort of reaching in opposite directions. And then we could try that on the other side. There's really no wrong way to breathe here. You could explore inhaling to one side and then exhaling through center and then maybe inhaling to the other side. It's a pretty expansive movement here. We're really stretching out through the front of our chest into our arms, letting our spine articulate a little bit from side to side. And whenever you feel ready, you could come through center. Maybe we reach both arms up to breathe in. And as we exhale, you could fold your fingers towards the base of your palms. We're making a little bit of a fist and then starting to circle your wrist. Continuing to breathe as you float your arms down, circling your wrist, getting out any snap, crackle, pops that might be hiding in your wrist joints today. I always have one wrist that makes a little bit more noise than the other. Let's inhale. Maybe we reach right back up. And this time, as you exhale, if you'd like, you could flick through the air. So stay really trying to find your range of motion. As we're moving our fingers this way, you may notice some strengthening feelings in your forearms, the muscles, all the way up to your elbows, perhaps. Let's inhale and reach all the way back up. And this time, as we exhale, maybe we're wiggling our fingers. So it's a little bit of a softer feeling, kind of playing that piano all the way down. articulating through the joints of your fingers, increasing sensation and circulation all the way down to each of our fingers, still strengthening our forearms. As we inhale, floating your arms all the way up. And this time, as you exhale, maybe bringing your palms together to your heart. For just a moment, if you'd like, you could push palm into palm, breathing in. And then as we exhale, you could soften that, interlacing your fingers and maybe taking a little movement in our wrists. Just checking in, seeing how your wrists are feeling, maybe trying both directions. And then for a slightly different sensation, if you want, you could turn your interlaced palms forwards away from you, and then maybe start to extend your arms forward. So that's going to deepen the stretch into your wrists. We're not pushing into anything that feels painful. Maybe we inhale and your hands may start to float overhead. As you exhale, if you'd like to, you could lean slightly to one side. And then as you inhale, you could come back up through center. And as we exhale, you could lean to the other side. And then we'll inhale our way through center, exhaling to release your arms, perhaps slightly back and down. Now, at this point, if you want to, you could shake out a little bit. Sometimes it can feel nice to sort of swing our arms forwards and back. So this may be a little challenging if the chair you're using has arms on it. So your arms may sort of come out to the side just so we're not bunking into any furniture. Then we'll use our own momentum here to inhale our arms all the way up when you're ready. And exhale to pull down through the air in front of you. Coming back to those same torso circles we began with, sort of noticing if there's any changes in how this movement feels since the beginning of our practice. So it may feel a little bit more open or spacious in your low back or your hips. And it may feel exactly the same as it did earlier. That's perfectly fine. Maybe we circle a few times in each direction until, if you want to, you could choose to lean slightly forward, maybe bringing your elbows to your knees. Now, this is our first forward fold, so you may feel a significant stretch here in your lower back. You're welcome to stay here. Or if your body is asking you for movement, leaning or rocking side to side may change the sensation in your lower back. So just taking a moment to become aware of that subtle shift in sensation, maybe more stretch on one side and then more stretch on the other side. If you're interested in a little bit of a change in sensation, so if you want to bring more sensation to your upper back, you could explore bringing your left shoulder sort of forwards and down. And as you do that, you may find that you're looking to the right, maybe even behind you and to the right. Then we could come through center, breathing in, and exhale maybe your right shoulder forwards and down, looking to the left. So as we continue from side to side, each of us may be turning from side to side at our own pace, noticing that this may bring a little bit of a twist or stretching sensation to your mid back, kind of between your shoulder blades or into your upper back. Checking in with how your spine is feeling today. As you're ready, you could come through what feels like center and breathe in. On your exhale, if you want to, you could round forward any amount. So you could keep your elbows on your knees. You could also bring your hands to your ankles or your feet or the ground. And this is sort of our deeper forward fold, each of us coming as far forward as feels interesting today. Now, I like to sway a little bit from side to side here. That feels useful to my lower back. You're welcome to try that, see if that feels useful to you. You may even choose to sort of sway over to the right and pause there for a moment. And then you could sway over to the left and pause there for a moment, noticing sort of the differences in each side where you may feel that stretch change in your lower back. And then as each of us come towards a sort of neutral forward fold, you could take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, you could bow your head forward if you haven't already. Maybe you begin to bring your hands slowly to your knees. So anytime we're upside down, we want to take our time to come back towards neutral. So you could look forward and then inhale as you begin to lift and rise back towards what feels like a neutral seated place. Maybe we reach up to breathe in. As you exhale, once again, we're going to bend one elbow, reaching up with one arm, and then inhale to swap that up. Now, this time, as you continue this movement, you could explore sort of heel toeing your feet to a little bit of a wider stance. Maybe your toes are angling out. And if it sounds interesting, you could start to sort of reach over into the side. So that may bring a little bit of a deeper stretch into the side of your body. So your left hand is sort of reaching up and then over to the right. And then your right hand to sort of reach up and then over to the left. You want some movement in your fingers. You could reach and grab with your fingers, sort of pulling down towards you, articulating through your fingers, noticing any strengthening feelings you may feel in your core. There could be a sort of engagement in your abdominal muscles each time you come up through center as your core sort of lifts you back up. And whenever you feel ready, there's really no rush. You could continue this for as long as you'd like. You could come through center and explore reaching both arms up. And as you exhale, maybe bringing your arms wide and down. Your hands could rest on your knees as we allow our toes to point forward. So we're keeping a wide stance in our knees, and maybe our toes are sort of pointing forward. And then we could begin to come right back to those torso circles we found at the very beginning of our practice. This time with this wider stance, it may feel a little bit different. So you may be able to explore a larger range of motion. This is another opportunity to check in and strengthen your core, your abdominals. So one way to do that is to explore sort of inhaling as you come forward and exhaling as you swing back. So I'm going to turn to the side just so it might be a little clear. As you're coming forward, we're taking a big, big belly breathing in. As you're sweeping back, we're hinging back, and you might feel some engagement, some strengthening in your core there. Exhaling to sweep back and then trying that in both directions. There's no rush. So whenever you feel ready, if you'd like to, you could begin to come through what feels like a neutral place. Maybe we reach up to breathe in. On your exhale, we could pull down through the air in front of us. We'll take that 2 more times. Inhaling, scooping wide. Exhaling to pull down. One last time, maybe reaching up to breathe in. And exhaling to pull down. And if you'd like to, on this one, you could lean slightly forward so that you can imagine picking something up off of the floor in front of you and lifting it up to breathe in. As you exhale, you could swan dive back down. Inhaling, scooping, lifting, reaching up, and exhaling back down. One of my favorite yoga teachers calls this lifting baby Simba. I don't know if you've ever seen The Lion King, but if that image is helpful for you, you could imagine lifting something beautiful, and we'll exhale coming down. On your next inhale, we'll rise up. And as you exhale, slowly bringing your arms down, maybe they rest on your knees. And we could begin to heel toe our feet back towards neutral. You may find it useful to take a little bit of movement in our shoulders here, just sort of softening out with a little bit of rolling in one shoulder and then the other, possibly inviting your shoulders to roll down and back. As you sit just slightly taller to breathe in. And as you exhale, you could start to find some movement in your feet. Maybe we lift one heel and then the other, looking for any sensation in your ankles and feet, noticing how your feet are feeling. You could keep lifting one heel and then the other, or for a little bit of a different sensation, you could lift your right heel and lift the toes of your left foot so that we're sort of alternating, lifting the toes of one foot, the heel of the other. And there's a little bit of accompanying movement that may start to happen in your torso. So there's a little bit of a twist that starts to sort of follow along with the movement in our feet. We're strengthening around our ankles, our calves, along our shins, a lot of those muscles and connective tissues we need for all the balance we'll be exploring in a little bit. Whenever you feel ready, you could come towards what feels like a neutral seat and maybe bounce out your heels. Then as you're ready, perhaps you start to lift one foot and then the other. So maybe lifting one foot and then lowering it back down, inhaling to lift up and exhaling back down. Something you could try here if you want would be to add a little bit of resistance. So as you inhale to lift your right knee, you could exhale, pushing down into your knee with your palms as your knee is pushing up and into your hand. Inhaling to lift up, and then we'll exhale, pushing down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, pushing down. Now, if this resistance is feeling useful, sort of hands pushing down as our knees push up and into our hands, you could continue this movement. Or for a different way to strengthen our legs, you could plant both feet, and we're going to bring the palms of our hands to the outside of our knees. You may find it useful to lean slightly forward here. As you inhale, maybe pushing your knees out and into your hands as your hands are pushing in on your knees. So we're strengthening through our shoulders, our arms, our legs, breathing in. As you exhale, you could release and let go of that effort. And we'll just take that 2 more times. Inhaling, pushing knees out into hands, hands into knees, and then exhaling to release and let go. We'll just take that once more if you'd like. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe we inhale to reach up. And as you exhale, you could sweep your arms slightly back and down. If it feels available, you could hold on to your chair behind you. And if for whatever reason that's not feeling good in your shoulders today, you can also reach your hands back towards the wall behind you in some way. And if none of that feels good, you can also bring your hands to your hips. You're welcome to sort of pick which one of those feels best for your body today. Wherever we are, let's inhale a lift in your heart, breathing in. On your exhale, we'll sweep our arms forward, crossing one arm over the other. Now, we're not pushing into anything that feels painful into our shoulder joints here. You could try letting your elbows get heavy, so they may lower down to rest on your body. And then if you choose to, you could turn a little bit side to side, and that may bring not only a stretch into your shoulders, your upper back, it's giving us a chance to explore our twists, maybe even into your lower back, you may feel some sensation, or into your hips here. If you're clenching your jaw, this could be a moment to soften your face, to furrowing your brow, to soften between our eyebrows. And as you begin to come through neutral, you have the option of lifting your elbows to the mouth. And as we exhale, you could lower your elbows down, noticing which arm you have naturally placed on top. And we could swap that out by opening your arms as wide as feels comfortable, lifting through your heart to breathe in, and exhaling the opposite arm on top. Now, with this arm on top, it may feel a little different, maybe a little weird if it's not your dominant arm. You could take that side to side movement again. Checking in with how you're breathing. If you notice that you're holding your breath, this could be a moment to invite a deeper breath in and a long breath out. And as you come through what feels like center, if you'd like, you could start to lift your elbows any amount, breathing in. And as you exhale, you could lower your elbows down. Let's inhale, maybe we open our arms wide. And as you exhale, you could float your arms down alongside your body, maybe a little shakeout. From here, if you'd like, there's a few options. We could come right back to lifting one heel and then the other. This may be a movement you want to explore for a while, or for something different, you could come back to lifting one foot and then the other. Or if you're feeling that you'd like to hold a stretch or sort of check in with your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, one way to do that is to lift your right foot off the ground any amount. So we could hold on to the back of our leg or the front of our shin. If your spine is kind of rounding forward here, you could explore sitting a little taller in some way. So maybe lengthening as you breathe in, and as you exhale, possibly taking some movement down into your right ankle, pointing and flexing your foot. And the next time you are flexing your right foot, you could inhale to extend your leg forward and exhale to lower your heel to the ground. Now, your right leg could be straight or bent. That's completely up to you. Maybe we scoot just a little forward. We want to make sure our chair is not sort of cutting into the back of our leg or sort of making it uncomfortable to sit here. Let's inhale and sit taller. And as we exhale, if you'd like to, you could lean forward any amount, just until you start to feel a stretch in the back of your right leg that feels useful today. And sometimes it can feel nice to stay right here. So holding the stretch is always an option. If you're feeling that you'd like a little bit of a twist here, you could bring your left hand to your bent left knee. And that may allow you to open your heart a little bit to the left. So it's almost like your left shoulder may lift a little bit to look to the left. Your right arm, your left arm could extend to the side. You do have the option of floating your left arm up if that feels useful today. Let's breathe in. On your exhale, maybe bringing your left hand back down. We're going to push into our knees to lift up. Maybe you reach overhead, breathing in. Then exhale your hands together to your heart, pushing palm into palm briefly. Inhaling, diving upward, and exhaling your arms all the way back down. As you begin to plant your right foot, you could bounce out your heels for a moment. Sometimes I enjoy just extending one leg and then the other, sort of softening any tightness you may have been noticing in your knee joint. If you want to, you could come back to lifting one heel and then the other. Or you do have that option of lifting one foot and then the other, sort of drawing your knees up and into your chest. Staying within your range of motion. This is your process and your body, your experience. You get to modify any of these movements for what feels good to you. If you're looking for that stretch in the back of your left leg, you could lift your left knee towards your heart any amount. And maybe we take some movement in our left ankle. Again, imagining sitting as tall as feels comfortable for your spine today. If you'd like, you could flex your left foot and extend your leg forward, breathing in, and exhale to land your heel. Now, this side may feel a little different. You could add a bend in your knee or straighten your leg. Either way, we want to lift and lengthen, breathing in. And as you exhale, maybe leaning forward. For a stretch in the back of your left leg here. This leg may feel different than the other side. You're always welcome to stay here. You know, sometimes holding a sort of static stretch can feel really nice, just kind of noticing all those subtle differences, maybe a softening forward each time you exhale. If you're feeling that you really want that twist that you may have found on the other side, you could plant your right hand on your right knee and maybe open your heart a bit to the right. And if your right arm wants to, you could extend it to the side, overhead, wherever we are, just breathing in. And exhaling your hands down, planting your hands on your knees to look forward, lifting, rising, reaching up, breathing in. And exhaling your hands together to your heart, pushing palm into palm briefly. And then inhaling, diving up, exhaling your arms all the way back down. Maybe you choose to plant your feet and bounce out your heels. You can also lift your heels and sort of tap them side to side. So one last little check-in with our ankles before we have our optional standing movements. As you begin to bring your heels towards neutral, You can decide if you want to stay seated or perhaps explore a little supported standing movement. If you choose to come to standing, you can always choose to come back to seated. It's really up to you. If you want to come to standing, one way to do that is sort of draw your feet slightly closer to your chair and lean a little forward. So I'm just going to turn to the side, right? So maybe we bring our feet in, maybe we're leaning forward, maybe we're reaching forward until you may feel your hips lift off of your chair. Maybe we push into the ground with our feet, rising up, reaching overhead to breathe in and exhaling your arms down. Moving gently, we could start to shift our hips side to side, slowly making your way behind your chair so that you have some support. And if you're not enjoying using the chair for support, you can also come to a wall or maybe a large, heavy piece of furniture like the back of a couch or a countertop support. One way to welcome ourselves to some standing movement would be to send your hips from side to side. If you're seated, you could explore leaning or swaying side to side with your torso. If you're standing, you could begin to circle your hips through the air. You're welcome to keep your hands on the back of your chair. If you're feeling very stable and steady in this moment, you could explore bringing your hands to your hips. That's up to you. And just noticing how we're breathing. Just standing, you may notice that you're mostly moving in your hips, where you may want to incorporate a little bit of circling in your torso as well, which could bring the beginnings of some deeper stretches into the back of your hamstrings, backs of your legs. And we'll start to come through what feels like center for you when you're ready. Maybe you bring both hands over to your left hip, sort of stacking one hand on top of the other and turning to the left. So this is our standing twist. If you're seated, one way to take a similar sensation would be to bring your right hand over to your left knee and sort of turn in your chair. Wherever we are, imagine sitting taller, so lengthening through your spine, breathing in. And as you exhale, maybe you look past your left shoulder, sort of towards the wall behind you. Breathing here. Then we'll inhale our way through center and we'll exhale over to the other side. So maybe your hands come to your right hip, maybe you turn to the right. If you're seated, you could bring your left hand over to your right knee and sort of turn in your chair. We're going to pause in our twist, imagining that within your twist, you're sitting just slightly taller or standing slightly taller, breathing in. On your exhale, if you want to, you could look past your right shoulder, kind of completing that twist. Breathing here. And we're going to inhale our way back through what feels like center, exhaling your arms down. Using the support of your chair, if you're standing, we'll start to lift one heel and then the other. And if you're seated, you can come back to the same movement. So lifting one heel and then the other until perhaps you feel ready to begin lifting one foot and then the other. There's a lot of different muscle dynamics at play here, shifting our weight from one foot to the other. You could challenge yourself to sort of pause on one side and then on the other. And at any point here, if you'd like to, you could plant your left foot and maybe we lift our right foot forward. Now, a lot of different things going on here. We can keep our hands on our chair or on the wall for support. You could flex your right foot. And if we're dropping down into our left hip, I'd love to invite you to lift and lengthen. You may feel a little lift in your heart. You could keep your hands on your chair or extend one of your arms, one of your branches overhead. You can also bring one hand to your heart or both. Each of us taking our balance in our own way, being kind with ourselves, patient with ourselves, breathing in. On your exhale, if your foot is still lifted, go ahead and plant it and we'll bring our arms, our branches down, maybe a little shakeout, maybe sending our hips from side to side, maybe a circle or two in each direction. We're going to come into what's sometimes called supported downward dog. One way to get there is to bring our hands to the back of our chair or to your countertop if you're using one. And we'll start to step our feet back. So we're going to explore leaning forward, sort of hinging at the waist. We're looking for, an approximate 90-degree angle between our legs and our torso, looking at the ground, all sorts of lengthening you may feel in the backs of your legs. And as much as feels comfortable, we're going to actively pull our hips back away from our hands. And what that may do is bring more lengthening to the back of our legs, more lengthening into our lower back. You're welcome to walk your dog by lifting one heel and then the other. Or you could wag your dog by planting your heels and sending your hips gently side to side. Your legs could be bent or straight. It's entirely up to you. Wherever we are, let's breathe in and breathe out. On an inhale, you could look forward and then slowly begin to walk your feet in beneath your shoulders. As you make your way to standing, you could reach up to breathe in. And as we exhale, maybe you turn your palms to face forward. Maybe you invite yourself to pick up more space, becoming unapologetically large in this moment. Maybe we open through our face or through our eyes, breathing in. On your exhale, perhaps releasing your arms down. Maybe a little shake out, or you could send your hips side to side. We're going to keep this wide stance that we have. So you may be directly behind your chair with a little bit of a wide stance. Maybe your toes are angling out. And if it feels interesting, we could bend one knee and then the other. So if you're seated in this moment, you could explore sort of shifting or leaning side to side. If you're standing, we could explore bending one knee and then the other. So we're just seeing how that feels into our calf muscles, our knees today. And beginning to come through what feels like center. Maybe we straighten both legs to breathe in. On your exhale, take your time with a little bend in our knees. We'll start to heel toe our feet in. So stepping back in towards a more sort of neutral standing place. And if you choose to, you could begin to lift one heel and then the other. At some point, if you choose to, you could shift weight into your right foot and lift your left foot forward. Maybe you flex your foot. So we're finding our balance on this side. And one thing you may find useful is to find something to look at that's not moving that will help you with your balance. Maybe you bring one hand to your heart or both. You could keep one hand on your chair and reach the other arm, the other branch overhead. Wherever we are, let's breathe in. And on your exhale, if your foot is lifted, go ahead and plant it down, releasing your arms. Your branches may be shaking out or sending your hips side to side. You may find it useful here to bring your hands either to your hips or to the back of your chair and take a few circles in each direction. Noticing how you're breathing. Now, if you're standing, I'd love to invite you to make your way directly in front of your chair. So we're sort of standing directly in front of our chair. And let's inhale, reaching slowly upward. On your exhale, bringing your arms forward, bending your knees, and slowly, with as much control as we can, gently landing in your seat. As you release your arms down, we're going to reach all the way back up, breathing in, and exhale your arms slightly back and down. As we make our way back into our seat, you may find that you want to lean or rock from side to side. And then we're going to close out our practice with our spinal wave and our spinal twist. So we'll start with our spinal wave. And one way to get there is to inhale a lift in your heart as you bring your hands towards your hips to lean forward. Then as we exhale, maybe we're rounding back towards the back of your chair, bowing your head. Inhaling, lifting through your heart to come forward, and exhaling, rounding, rocking back. Following your breath for a few more cycles of this movement. And you may find that you want to continue this for longer, really listening into your upper back, finding that big belly as you come forward, rounding, tucking your tailbone, bowing your head as you rock back. Each of us coming towards neutral whenever we choose. There's no wrong way to move. And if you're ready for your final twist today, you could slide your left hand towards your left hip. So we're turning, opening to the left. From here, if you'd like, you could bring your right hand over to your left knee. And then your left arm has all sorts of options. It can rest on the back of your chair. It could be on the seat of your chair. If it feels nice, you could even thread your forearm behind your back, and that may feel like a nice stretch into your left shoulder. Wherever we are, let's inhale, sitting a little taller. Exhaling out. Now, as we inhale, we're going to slowly begin to reach up, unwinding back through center and exhaling to pull down through the air in front of you. We'll take that twist on the other side. So maybe you begin to draw your right hand towards your right hip, turning to the right. This way, maybe your left hand comes to your right knee. And then you get to decide where your right arm wants to be. Maybe it's on the back of your chair. Maybe you thread your arm behind your back if that feels like a good stretch to your shoulder today. No matter where you are, if you want to, you could sit just a little taller as you breathe in. Breathing out. Then as you inhale, reaching your arms overhead, slowly unwinding back through center. We're going to exhale to pull down through the air in front of you. Leaning side to side as you begin to shift back into the support of your chair. This is a moment of transition down into rest. So you may find that there's some other type of movement you need to get comfortable, honoring your body by taking whatever those last little movements are that you need, and getting as comfortable as you can possibly be. So if you have been practicing on a sofa and you feel like you want to lie down, you're welcome to. You can put your feet up if you are lucky enough to have an ottoman. Wherever we are, maybe your eyes start to close. And you may feel the muscles and connective tissues of your face begin to rest. As if you are letting go of whatever facial expression you've been holding this morning, feeling it sort of melt away. Allowing your shoulders to soften downward, your arms to get heavy and restful, your big Buddha belly as your body rests. As you notice that the way you're breathing might feel natural, calm, and gentle. And we'll be here for about 1 minute, breathing and resting. And I'll bring us back with the sound of my voice. Slowly beginning to deepen your breathing in some way. Slowly beginning to bring your awareness back towards your body. Noticing with some compassion where your thoughts may have been wandering. Beginning to introduce a little bit of movement in your own way. So, whichever parts of your body might be asking you for some movement. Maybe your fingers or toes, maybe your arms or your legs. You may find that you begin to explore a little bit of lengthening in your spine. And if it sounds interesting today, you have the option of bringing your palms together and maybe placing your thumbs in the very center of your forehead. Kind thoughts for yourself and for others. And then maybe bringing your thumbs to rest on your lips. Kind words for yourself and for others. And then maybe you bring your hands to your heart. Kind actions for yourself and for others. If you'd like to, you could blink your eyes open and reach up to breathe in, exhaling your hands together to your heart. Peace and light and love from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, this practice, this really beautiful community. Feel free to unmute if you'd like to share how you're feeling or any questions or comments you may have. And if you need to sign off, that's fine as well. It's good to have you, and I hope you have a great week.
Thank you so much. I feel great. I'm feeling better. Thank you so much. Blessings to all of you and happy weekend to the you.
Oh, thanks, Chloe. Blessings to you as well. Have a great weekend. Okay.
Thank you, Caro. This is so good.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Hildy. I agree. You guys are giving off some good energy. I'm feeling it through my computer. Thanks for all being here.
Ditto, wonderful. I look forward to these sessions. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, Countess. I'm glad you were here. Let's see. Elizabeth says, thank you for a great workout. Have a great weekend. You're welcome, Elizabeth. I did want to make sure y'all know that the inimitable Adra will be back next week. And she will be facilitating Wednesday and Friday, chair yoga on Wednesday, the functional fitness on Friday, and then I will be back the following week with yoga both days. Let's see what we got. Oh, Fran says my hip is moving better. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, Fran. That's fantastic news. All right. Oh, we got a message coming in from Deborah. Structure for my body, structure for my week. Thanks. Awesome. And Sonia says, I look forward to this class. It's great. Awesome. These are great comments. Thanks, everybody. Any questions? Or, oh, we're getting a wave. Oh, hi, Sonia. I saw all those hearts. That's lovely. I think this platform has some cool reactions that I didn't know existed. Let's see if I can get one going. Oh, yeah. There they are. So fun. Well, everyone, what a treat to get to move and breathe, knowing that we're all, practicing in community despite coming in from all over the country. So thanks for being here and sharing your time with me. What a treat. I believe V will be, sending out the link for next week so that you can join Adra, and do say hi to Adra from me. I miss her so much. We used to be neighbors in California, and it's been a few years. So send her my love. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Take care, everybody.